this is Daniel with PwnCNC, and we're here to install the track brackets onto this New-Carve by CNC for Newbies. Yeah, let's get started. So in your package, you should have 2 track brackets. This is in the dust boot kit for any of my Z independent boots. If you've included the tracks on there, which you'll definitely need unless you've already got one from a previous order. So yeah, but you'll have 2 universal track brackets. You'll have a couple of front ear pieces, a couple of back ear pieces. Along the top, I call these braces, so that it includes a brace, as well as a couple of short, I believe these are M4, yeah, I think these are M4 screw, socket head screws, as well as 4 longer M5 screws. So the first thing you need to do is take the brace. We're going to take our 2 short screws here, and there are 4 holes here. It doesn't matter which ones you put it into. I like putting them into the bottom ones, but it depends on how much clearance you have in the back as far as what material or the cable chain or something like that you might have in the way. Take an M3 screw hex wrench, screw that in. This is going into plastic. I did make those holes pretty wide, so that it should be pretty easy to do. We're just going to screw it in so that it's nice and flush on both sides. Now these screws will not be screwing into anything threaded on the machine. On the back side there's a series of holes, and I'll show you that. There we go. So there's a series of holes. These are not threaded inserts, holes. So these 2 screws here are basically just going to act as pins and kind of hold the brace left, right, and kind of up and down sort of thing. So yeah, just put those flush. I'm going to set this aside because the rest of the assembly, we're going to actually be fully assembling our tracks, and then we're going to tighten them up once we get it in place. So we've got those in place. There are 2, a left and a right ear. We're going to start with the right side. This is the one with the ledge. We're going to put that where both R's are kind of facing each other. So the side you put the screws into, that's where this back piece is going to go. We're going to take our other R here, and in this case, the R faces the R on the brace. We're going to pop that right into place. Take our track bracket, set that in. Now this is kind of a weird assembly, but in fact I'll do it this way. We're going to take one of our long screws, top left hole on our track, put our earpiece in with the R on the back side, take our brace, slide that right into place. So we've got our track, our earpiece, our brace, and then we're going to have, finally we're going to have our ear, and this includes the 2 locking nylon nuts. So just hand screw that in. It's just to hold it in place. It's not actually to tighten it up. So now that we got that in place, we're going to take a second screw. This is going to go into the bottom right. So we got top left, bottom right. And we're going to do the same thing. Just hand tighten that down. There. So we've got our assembly. Now we're going to do the exact same thing on the left side. We're going to take our left track bracket, longer screw, in this case top right hole. We're going to take the shorter L piece, so there's one long one and one short one. We're going to take the short one. The L should be facing away from the track, and it should be facing the L on our brace here. So we're going to slide that in, take the back side, and when you put that on, it should be threaded, the screw should be threading right into that threaded nut. Take our other screw here, tighten that on. So there, we've got our assembly. We're ready to actually go to the machine. So I'm going to do this in reverse. Hopefully I won't have any problems. So I didn't want to take the carriage off to make this a little easier like I did for the other ones, since it did come partially assembled. So just to keep things simple, and take our assembly. It's going to come in from the back side, bump right up against the carriage, or the Z plate. Yeah, the Z. Slide that down into place. It's going to slide right on into position. Here, let me reverse this back, because the very first thing we need to do is to tighten those little pin pieces there. When you screw that on, it will basically be going into one of these holes here along the side. And I'll show you what that does here in just a minute. Just tighten down both sides. Don't over tighten it. Remember, this is just screwed into plastic. It's not actually screwed into any sort of aluminum or anything. And you'll notice that the tracks won't actually come off of the machine now. It's designed, those pins help keep it in place, and it removes the need for any sort of stabilizer piece at the bottom. That actually makes that, plus all of the rest of the pieces, make this one of my strongest track bracket assemblies, actually. So I'm really proud of this one. Just tighten up all 4 of these screws at the top. What that will do is it creates a pinching action. And I'll turn this to the side so you can see. So we've got our earpiece, we've got our brace, which is right in line with our X plate. Then we have our front piece of the L, or of our ears, and then of course our track bracket. Both earpieces pinch this X plate so that it holds it in place front to back, with those pins holding it left to right. Just going to make sure both of those are tightened down. And those pins also help keep it right in line with the carriage. So what I really like about this setup is, because this is a smaller machine, these tracks are perfectly in line with the carriage. So I am not taking away anything from the Z using these on this, yeah, on this machine, which is pretty cool. No settings adjustments or anything like that are required. So there. Once I got those tightened in, those track brackets are not going anywhere. I am super happy with the way this design turned out. I have got several customers who love this particular upgrade. It was similar to the X-Carve, so I had a top and a bottom. Once I actually got this in hand, I realized that a different design was definitely worth it, and so I went and redesigned it. But yeah, now that that's in place, the next step, of course, is taking the support arms. Those are the L-shaped pieces, plastic pieces. Set those into place, thumb screws and nut plates on the back side. All of my track systems use that exact same design as far as the L pieces that go up and down and hold the actual boot. But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know at info@PwnCNC.com. I also have a contact form right there on my website. And yeah, don't just own your CNC, dominate it.